Thanks for checking.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Potomac Local News Podcast. I am your host, founder, and publisher of Potomac Local News, Uriah Kaiser. Joining us on the podcast today is Chris Savodowsky and Rob Tessier, and they are with the Upper Room Theater. We're going to be talking about their upcoming production of Shrek. Guys, thanks for coming on the podcast today. We're excited to have you.
Excited
It's
to be here.
great to be here, Uriah.
Yeah, thanks for
So,
having us.
So let's dive into it, right? So Upper Room Theater has been around for nearly 25 years. Talk to me about what Upper Room Theater is and how it all began.
Well, Upper Room Theater Ministry is a theater program that is under the umbrella of All Saints Church. It was designed to be a way for our young people here and young adults to come together and produce a theatrical production that would be for the whole community as a way to be able to just really share a message of hope, of goodness, family friendly, and give the young people an experience of doing something bigger than themselves. So that's where it started. It was a very simple start. Over the 25 years, it has grown into being something that is much bigger than any of us could have visioned at the beginning.
When we started, the very first show was Godspell. I think about 19 people auditioned, 14 were cast, so the odds were really great that year for people to come out. And it was really one of those like community theater. We're going to put on a show, and everybody's costumes pretty much came from what they had in their closet at home, and a unit set and some lights that just kind of turned on and off in the background. But still great storytelling and performing, but a very bare bones. We're putting on a show type vibe, and with the over the years, because the focus was on this great community, keeping God at the center of it, and also just great performing and storytelling and having high standards, it's grown and grown and grown. And it started with 3 shows, then 4 shows, then 5 shows, then 6 shows. Now we have 7 shows across an entire week of performances. Many of our shows, if not all, sell out. For this show this year, we'll have close to 3,500 people come in to see the show across one week. And it's grown not just in the amount of people that audition for the shows. For this year, for Shrek the Musical, we had 170 people from all over the region, Maryland, DC, West Virginia, Virginia, all come out to audition. But also in production values. For like we did Peter Pan a few years ago, we brought one of the companies that does Broadway flight, that flight on Broadway that came down, and Peter Pan flew out over the audience and people flew on stage. And we did Cinderella. We got these professional carriages and horses and stuff from one of the big regional theaters in the country. This year we had, sure, we'll talk a little bit more about it in a little bit, this because Rob was instrumental in making it happen, but we did this custom built 13-foot animatronic dragon that's in the show. So from those really humble beginnings and just focusing on doing good work and having a great environment, it has grown into something that now goes way beyond the All Saints Catholic Church community, but goes into our whole community at large, where people mark this out as part of their family outings. Whether they're Catholic or not, or whatever their beliefs are, they just want to come out and have a great experience with their family. So it's grown into something really special, and a tradition for so many people in our region.
If you're getting nearly 150 people coming out to audition for your shows from all of those places that you mentioned, including out of state, your program has really grown into something. So talk to me about how do these summer musicals support the church's youth ministry as a whole?
Sure, I can speak to that. You know, my full-time position here at the church is actually the director of youth and young adult ministry. And when we started our ministry program a number of years ago, in order to help the young people do things like go on a mission trip or do retreats, the church would have to, in a sense, pitch in or sponsor those programs to make it affordable. But the wonderful thing about this theater ministry is that as it grew and as our audience base grew and we were able to sell tickets to more people, we realized that we had an opportunity here, that we were actually not only paying for the production costs, but we were actually also bringing in a profit. And so what we've done is 100% of the profits go to support all of the program activities for an entire year of youth and young adult ministry. So for example, this past summer, between our middle school, high school, and our graduates, we had about 150 young people engaged in mission trips. And we were able to, with our theater ministry, fund that by tens of thousands of dollars to make those opportunities more accessible for the young people. So that's one example of how we're able to allow this theater ministry to kind of have a win-win. You know, everyone in the production is doing a great show, the audience is enjoying it, and we translate those profits into opportunity for our young people here at the parish.
Yeah, and there's about 300 events now. There are about 300 events that happen across a typical year between the youth and young adult programs. So it impacts not just the people at All Saints, but also our whole community. There's service days. There are many things that happen actually here in the local community that ripples onto. When people come to see Shrek the Musical in July, inside our program every year in the first cover, we always talk about our story and the impact of their ticket purchase or buying a drink at concessions or buying a t-shirt or what those things do and how they ripple into our whole community, wherever people might live in this region, the impact that it makes. And what you talked about, all these people getting involved. One of the other really unique things that allows us to make that fundraising so impactful is that the entire program is volunteer. And it's unique though, because we have, for this instance this year, we have multiple performers on stage in lead roles that are professionals, that are actually someone that we were talking about Riverside before we started doing this interview, that just finished a show, does like multiple shows back to back at Riverside, is now up in our show. We have people involved that actually are working on Broadway shows right now that are helping behind the scenes with the show this year, off Broadway, national tours. We have alumni that are on CBS. That are performing at Disney, that are performing on cruise ships right now. So we have a lot of people that have started with us that are now performing all over the region. Some of our musicians that are amazing perform with the National Symphony Orchestra at the Kennedy Center, Signature Theater, Olney. So we have, and our designers, our sound team, our lighting team, our costume designers, all come from professional theater. So we have people in all aspects of the program that love to put on theater, care about the mission and get it, and want to make a great impact with a variety of beliefs too. A lot of people that are not just in our community, not just that don't go to All Saints, but that care about making an impact and also care about combining that with creating great art that moves people and tells a really powerful message. So it's really neat because now that just keeps attracting more and more and more people that want to come in and be involved because they're like, wow, I hear you guys doing something really special. And these are people that are getting paid, and doing a show at the Kennedy Center, a month or two ago, and now they're here coming out to Manassas to help us put up Shrek the Musical.
So it's kind of both cases. You can see them here first at Upper Room, or you may have seen them in the Kennedy Center, and now you can see them here in Upper Room at All Saints Catholic Church in
Yeah, and
Manassas.
one of the integral things that we try to do, and we're very intentional about it, is we certainly do have people with professional backgrounds who are a part of what we do, but we also want to be able to expose those who maybe have a lot less experience to be a part of the process. So within our cast, we also have people who are doing their very first musical. We have members of our crew who were training to learn how to be audio engineers or learn how to design lights, to be a part of stage management. And so one of our goals is kind of an educational one in that we want to mix this professional world with those who are just learning, and maybe this is an aspiration they might have someday, maybe not, but it's a wonderful experience for them to come together. And I feel like even those who are very experienced that are with us have that mindset of like, we're actually training the next generation. And that's one of the reasons I believe that they're willing to just jump in and not look for pay, because they're really buying into this mission.
Mm-hmm.
We're building our farm team. For example, our production manager this year got into lighting and sound with us, just helping out in the summers, fell in love with it, is now in the broadcast world and is at Monumental Sports working on Caps games and working on things in DC at the highest level. And we have a lot of people that just got their start with us that in the very beginning, like talk about some of these performers that were going all over DC. When they were teens, they started with us, and we go back and chat with them. They said, I got my confidence. I realized I could make this a career. I realized the impact I could make. Or some people go in to become music teachers or to go theater teachers or to perform. We always talk about having kind of our farm team and bringing up the next generation of people too, so that they ripple out into the world and create an impact that keeps going. So that's really important to us. We jokingly call it Camp Upper Room sometimes too, because that ministry part of it, we really, for all of us included, by the way, too, whether we've done 100 shows or it's our first show, there's always something new to learn from it. And it's always a new challenge and some new tool we can put in our toolbox. So I think that all of us grow from it. And we look at opportunities to learn and make mistakes and learn from those mistakes, and grow whatever our experience level is or whatever side of the table that we're on. So
Yeah.
that's one of the really rewarding things, is putting up a show that's really amazing, and all these great awards we've won, recognition, and all these great things. We don't do it for that, but all these things happen because we have all these people that just care about producing something at a really high level, no matter where they're starting. And you come to the show and we want you to not know who's doing their first show and who's doing their 50th show. So it all feels exactly the same.
Well, what makes this year's production of Shrek unique? I mean, you alluded to it earlier with the dragon, but I really want to get into it with what makes this show pop this year.
Yeah,
where to start? While we're up thinking about this answer, I will say this show is probably one of our biggest shows ever. The Shrek world is just big. It's this fairy tale world. All these things collide. The music, the score. There are 78 instruments in the orchestra pit this year, between 14 players. The amount of costumes we have and costume changes that the cast are doing nonstop, with all the fairy tale characters in the world. The amount of acting demands of it, the comedy, the physicality, the dance, these massive minutes-long tap numbers and dance numbers in the show. The set is massive. The lighting, it's just everything. Every department is just being challenged a little bit more. Also has a really powerful message that we're trying to get right. I'll let Rob speak to that.
Yeah. So, I would say that every good show starts with telling a story, right? And so even with all the spectacle, Shrek tells a very impelling story. It teaches a very valuable message that every person is valued, there's great dignity, and everyone has a role to play in the big story. So that starts there. But then you layer on the fact that we've got a Tony Award winning music team who's composed beautiful music to help tell that story that improves it way beyond the animated movie version, in my opinion. And then you add on top of that the spectacle. This giant dragon that we contracted and designed with a team in China that designs animatronic dragons and dinosaurs for all sorts of large-scale amusement parks around the world, and contracted to have that built, and it had arrived. Cross your fingers. We were tariffs, but we tracked it through the Panama Canal. Eventually made it to New Jersey, and now it's here in our building, and we are excited to share that. But not only that, the set itself is large. The set is 14 feet tall. It's moving all the time to bring us into different places. And this year we decided with these types of costumes, that we would pull a rental for the majority of our costumes. So we've got some beautiful costumes that came to us from Philadelphia. And just all in all, everyone in every department, it's just been a big lift. But everyone is loving the way that it's coming together and can't wait to share it with our audiences soon.
And Rob talked about being a big lift. One of the things that's important to us is we're really intentional about who we bring into the team when we're casting people, whether they're behind the team, that it's going to be a good environment and a culture fit. Sometimes when you're, in the professional theater world, sometimes it's just a job, and it's not always. There are a lot of different personalities, and that happens anywhere you're doing theater. But we really want to bring in people that work well together, that are going to have a positive attitude and positive mindset. So when things get really challenging, which this show has challenges every single day with it, that the entire team can work through those in a really positive way, which also we talk about the youth and people involved that are learning this entire process and just how to collaborate, whatever they go to do later in their life, and seeing how we deal with these challenges and how we can positively push through these things, especially with a show that is the amount of Tetrising of where all these set pieces go and how they live throughout our space. The show is massive. there's just a lot everywhere. And Rob mentioned about the messages. Every show we do, because we do one big show in the summer and then we do a winter cabaret right at the beginning of February. For our summer musical, because we get one big shot at it and we spend so many months putting it on, it's important to us that it has a really powerful, positive, uplifting message that people can take away. And this one has that in spades and then some. And really just, it really should, you're laughing. And then at the next moment, you're like, why am I wiping a tear away? Because there's these insanely human moments that people can connect to in the show. And it's a really, really well-written score. I mean, there's a reason it's won a lot of awards, got nominated for tons of awards, and it's being produced nonstop. And that people still love Shrek like crazy to this day. I know, well, you have some other questions for us. If you want to know more about kind of the message of the show, how is it for families, because it is family friendly and all that stuff, at upperroomtheater.com, we have more about the message. And if people don't know the Shrek story, we explain the Shrek story more on our site too, for people to kind of know what the heck is Shrek.
Yeah. Yeah, and you should know the Shrek story if you don't already. You should fully know it, because you might have more fun with it going in if you know the story and you can kind of see it brought to life there. Gentlemen, this has been great. Finally, tell us how we can get tickets. Tell us the show times, the dates, all the particular stuff that we need to know before you guys hit the stage.
Go ahead and jump in, Chris.
So to get tickets, we like to make it super easy. You can go to just upperroomtickets.com, just like it sounds, upperroomtickets.com, rather than typing on upperroomtheaterministry.org. That's a really long one to remember. So if you go to upperroomtickets.com, it'll bring you right to our ticket page. It explains all about Shrek, a little bit more about the story. You can find out other links on the site about our background, where our alumni go, all these different things. And people that are watching this that want to audition down the road, we have an audition page that talks about when those happen, because we always get requests about, how do I get involved? Or if people want to volunteer, there's a contact form. So everything is kind of your one-stop shop. But if you go to upperroomtickets.com, you can find information about the shows. We open on July 15th. So from when we're doing that, whenever you're seeing this video, it might be a couple weeks away, it might be a day away, but it's going to be July 15th, 2025. That's a Tuesday night. And we run through Sunday, which is July 20th. And we have 7 performances. And they're in the evenings between Tuesday to Saturday. There's 7:30 p.m. performances. And then on Saturday and Sunday, we also have a 1:30 p.m. matinee, which is great for families and people with kids. We have a lot of families that love coming out to that. But the entire show is designed to be family friendly.
And when you go to buy the tickets at upperroomtickets.com, you get to select the seats that you want to sit in. So we've got reserve seats, and honestly, they're really, and I know this is cliche, but there is not a bad seat in the house. Sometimes I like to sit in the very back row just to like take it all in. But the theater is not large, so you really feel like it's an intimate experience, and we're really able to provide an opportunity for families to sit together instead of waiting in a long line, by having those reserved seats in advance.
And you'll be performing at All Saints Catholic Church in Manassas, correct? That's the venue?
Yes, we have an activity center next to the church on the property. Mm-hmm. It was actually the old church that we converted into a performing arts center and an activity center for the parish throughout the year. And we bring in professional lighting, sound, extra staging, and we convert it for this production into when you walk in, you feel like you're in a large theater.
Yeah. No, it's a great. I will say I've been to the church many times, and it's a very, very good size campus that you have there in Manassas, right? So it's very convenient to get to as well.
And we also, for people that haven't been there before, we have plenty of free parking too. So you're not we're right outside Old Town Manassas, so you can go down to Ashton, Family Restaurant, and grab a bite to eat there. You can go downtown and grab a bite to eat. But then you can easily find parking at our theater. We have a huge parking lot. There's street parking. There's plenty of parking. You don't have to hunt around to find parking. Also, it's very convenient to park and walk right into the theater. And we do have a dedicated space. We do have concessions, some light snacks and stuff at intermission, and drinks for people as well too. And it's air conditioned because it's usually right in the hottest part of the summer whenever we end up putting up our shows. So we try to keep it as comfortable for everybody that wants to come out to. And we're blessed to have this space because the program has grown so much that when this building got renovated, a lot of extra things were put in so that we could put on these full-scale Broadway musicals in the summer and bring them to the community. And we've really gotten to learn the space over over the years. So people should go check that out. You can, like I said, you can pick your seats. We do have adult pricing. We also have youth pricing for 17 and under. And we also have a VIP pass if people really love theater and want to get all the goodies we have and get a backstage tour and see how all the magic happens behind the scene with all the technology we use in the show, get pictures of things backstage and all these cool things. That's also explained on the site where we have that fun opportunity, which a lot of people do now as well, which we have a handful of those for every show.
Well, the Upper Room Theater Ministries production of Shrek will play from July 15th through the 20th for 7 performances only. Get your tickets, get them today, and we will share this out on, obviously, our podcast, on our website, on PotomacLocalNews.com. Chris and Rob, thank you so much for doing this. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Thank
It was
you
great.
so much.
Great to
We
meet you and
appreciate
chat
it.
with you. And look forward to seeing everybody at Shrek the Musical this summer.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Uriah.
Thank you.